Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list is a continuation of what I was doing last week, which was I found 40 different ways that a person can collect. I get asked that question all the time. What should I collect? What's cool to collect? What do what do you like? What do you recommend I should collect? I recommend you collect what you like. You should never collect anything because someone else told you to do it. You can definitely make a determination as to what you like. I cannot influence what you like. But what I can do is show you the things that are out there. And from there, you can determine whether or not that's something you like. Now, I understand it's easier when someone can kind of guide you in a direction, and that's kind of what this is. I came up, like I said, with 40 different ways. Last week I picked out 10 of those ways and showed a bunch of examples of those. This week we're continuing with another 10. So these are in no particular order. One isn't better than the other. It's just 10 more things or ways to collect. All right, number one this week. Let's see here. We are going with fancy serial numbers. Fancy serial numbers are always cool because they're stuff you can find in circulation. Whenever you find things in circulation, obviously you get them for face value. That's the best way to do it. But some of these have value that's a lot more than just face value. Here's a repeater. First four digits repeat to the last four digits. This is a radar right here, 666-33666, so it reads the same forward and back. Yeah, that's that repeater again. Here's another repeater, 44, or that's another radar, right? Yeah, reads the same forward and back, 446000644. And here's a binary. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different fancy serial numbers to collect. They're fun to find in circulation, but if you are definitely set trying to get a specific thing, then you might have to pay up for them. Cool way to go, especially since all of mine are circulation finds. So yes, you can find them out there. That's number one this week, and like I said, no particular order. Number two this week, I went with notes that have stories. Every single note in this pile has an interesting story, and just to hear the stories themselves is enough to make you want the note. Once you understand the story behind all the different notes, then now you have a reason to collect that particular thing. I've gone through the stories on all of these notes in videos in the past, so you can always check those out. Like, for instance, this one here, known as the Jackass note. You can see this eagle, and if you were to turn this upside down, that eagle becomes a donkey. So every one of these notes has some type of story similar to that. These are great to collect because just in showing any one of these notes, you have a story to tell, which is going to get people interested in the hobby. That is number two this week. Number three. Let me see what I got here. Number three is world notes. You can collect foreign notes. Here's a Canadian note here. You guys know this one. One of the devil's head Canadian notes. You can see in her hair the face of the devil. Once again, you can always check videos on these. Now, notes from around the world is an untapped market, basically. Most foreign notes are relatively cheap compared to the U.S. counterparts. You have to deal with different denominations, you've got the dollar versus the pound versus the yen versus the mark. There's just so many ways that other countries use money and use the different denominations, and denomination in and of itself. Here's a $500 note that's in circulation, but we don't use a $500 note. There's just, like I said, so many different ways that foreign countries do things, and their money just has not exploded yet as far as the collector's market. So another untapped realm that you can get into. That one is number three this week, foreign currency. Number four, we're going to go with denomination. Okay. I personally am fascinated by $3 bills. So I enjoy collecting $3 bills. I've got a couple of them here. $3 bills to me are just fascinating because it's a denomination that you don't see. But My collection of $3 bills is just that. It is a $3 bill collection. I have these notes solely for their denomination. So collecting notes by denomination is another way that you can do it. It doesn't have to be an odd note. You can simply collect $1 bills because they're the easiest ones to find. Making your collection nothing but $100 bills would be a little expensive. All right, that is number 4. Number 5, we're going to go with unique denominations. How's that? Trying to get these all up here. Here we go. Unique denominations. Now, obviously, a $3 bill is a unique denomination. Here's a $25 gold back. What else do we got here? Here's a $0 note. $7 note from Fiji. Here is 1/6 of a dollar. So unusual denominations. There are so many different ways that there are unique values. So you could put together a collection that is nothing but denominations the average person hasn't heard of. That would be number 5. Number 6, we're going to go with, you can get notes based on the city that they were issued. Here's my city, Kenosha, Wisconsin. There's Providence, Rhode Island. There's so many different ways that you can find different cities on notes. Decatur, Illinois right there. Here's Detroit, Michigan. So yeah, any city you happen to live in, at some point there was most likely currency with your city's name on it. When it comes to collecting these, if you buy them locally, you're going to pay more. One example is this note right here. I knew this note was worth about $400. But because I was trying to buy it in this town of Kenosha, the guy wanted $600. And a year or two later, I came back and his note was still there. And I said, whenever you're ready to let it go, I'll give you 4. And he eventually sold it to me because nobody else was buying. But yeah, there is always the local bump. So if you can find your city when you're out of town, that's the best way to do it. All right, that is number 6. Number 7. You can collect star notes. Here's a star note. This one is a 1935 G star note here. I've got, this one is a filled star. You can see that star is filled in. That's an error, listed as a solid star error. That's that silver certificate. And then there's 1869 legal tender. You can see the star there. This one is not a star note, even though it has a star on it. But I always just find it fun to do that. I have an entire binder full of stars. You can find stars in circulation if you're looking just for the small size notes. You can find them in every denomination. And finding the older notes with stars on them, that's always fun too, because they're a little pricey and they will probably go up the most in value. So yeah, star notes are definitely something that you could be collecting. All right, number 8. I went with people. Yes, you can collect notes based on people. For example, let's say you wanted to collect notes featuring George Washington. Here's George Washington on a $2 bill. Most people never knew that. Here he is on a Federal Reserve bank note, on a $1 legal tender, on a $1 silver certificate, on a $20 gold certificate. Here he is on another $1 legal tender. Yeah, most people didn't realize George Washington was on so many different types of notes. But that's just George Washington. You can collect any particular person and put together a set of all of the different notes that that person has been featured on. Once again, a great way to get into the hobby, a great way to explore the hobby and see all the different things that are out there, as well as a way to admire your favorite president. That is number 8. It doesn't even have to be a president, any person that's on a bill, I should say. So that was 8 people. Number 9, you can collect specific series, okay? For instance, here's the educational series. The complete educational series, I don't want to say is an easy series. There are 3 notes in the educational series. There's the $1 bill, the $2 bill, and the $5 bill. It's hard to believe this set of money was actually in our pockets. I mean, it's just ridiculous that this is what we carried around for the longest time. Which isn't true. We carried it around for 3 years. And then there was an issue with this note, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that this is it. The entire educational series is these 3 notes, And by me owning them, I've finally completed this series. They are an expensive series, but I did complete that entire series, and rightfully so, pretty proud of that. So that is number 9, putting together a series. And finally, number 10 this week, I went with the way that I actually collect. I collect a typeset. I try to get one of everything. So what a typeset, well, here's a Federal Reserve note. Here's a legal tender. Here's a silver certificate, a gold certificate, a national bank note, and here's a gold back. This is actually made out of gold. Yeah. I mean, that's a good example of a typeset, having one of everything, all the different variations, all kinds of different denominations, different places, but one of everything, just so you can show exactly how they're going. Did I actually do that right? Oh, there's 2 5s. There's 1,000, a 10, a 5. Oh, there's another 10, a 5, and a 1. But yeah, you can see all the different types of stuff. Just like I said, this is just an example. I'm trying to get one of everything, but by having a typeset, you can show the different types of notes that there are. Really cool way to display notes. Anyway, that's what I've got this week. Tune in next week and the week after, and I'll continue going down my 40 ways to collect. Hopefully this stuff helps you guys get ideas as to what direction you want to take your collection. There are so many different notes out there. It's just it's a daunting task to try to pick something. So hopefully by doing this, you guys are going to start seeing stuff that you like, seeing stuff that interests you, and it will help guide you down the right path. All right, guys, if you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.